There's a lot of correspondence to be done on my desk, and there's a lot of applications. Let's see who has applied for the application of holiness. Okay, okay. Oh, this application may mentions about ask your father. So let's go for this application. Let's see the first they have. What should I do if I disagree with something the church teaches? What should I do if I disagree with something the church teaches? The teaching of the church is not simply something that is written on a book. The teaching of the church comes from two foundations, the scriptures and the traditions. And the teaching of the church is the continuation of what Jesus has left us with. I am the way, the truth, truth with capital T. The fact that someone disagrees with some teaching of the church means there is some departure from it. Now, the teaching of the church from the scriptural, from the dogmatic, from the magisterial level is different from someone who says something during an interview. There is a degree of the truth in these multiple modes and levels of church's teaching. The church's teaching is fundamentally scriptural. That comes down to dogmatic, which includes tradition. Then comes the magisterial teaching. Then comes apostolic exhortations. Then comes the pastoral letters. So if someone is disagreeing with the teaching of the church, means we are putting ourselves at the risk of going against what the truth Jesus Christ has taught us. But we cannot simply say, just because somebody said during an interview, you can simply disagree with the person, because an interview may not contain that truth in its entirety. It may be an opinion, it may be a perspective. But when it comes to the official doctrinal magisterial teaching of the church, we have what is called the obedience to the Holy Mother Church. If you disagree with the church, and if you're constantly finding yourself disagreeing with some teaching of the church, perhaps that may be the area that one needs to grow. We disagree with the things we don't like. We disagree as humans with those things that really challenge us. And the church teaching is not something that we can easily embrace, because it is a teaching of Jesus Christ. It is the truth. So if you and I sometimes find ourselves disagreeing, is that the room for us to grow? What should I do when I feel distracted or dry in prayer? What should I do when I feel distracted or dry in prayer? Distractions are a natural part of human thinking process. We get distracted not only during prayer, in so many things we do. We get distracted in class. We get distracted while driving. We get distracted in so many other things. And when we get distracted in prayer, it is simply to acknowledge that we are incomplete without God's grace. But there is a technique here which the spiritual masters recommend. We can even make our distractions into a prayer. Let's say a young person wants to pray and thoughts about his homework, thoughts about her job, or thoughts about his or things to do of the day comes to mind. And one cannot simply sit calm. What should we do? Offer those distractions into God as prayer. And God is not simply there to sit as a judge and say, oh, in this 10th minute, 50th second, you were distracted. God is not keeping a watch on us as to when we will get distracted. God simply listens to our prayer, even when we make our distractions as prayer. And as for feeling dry in prayer, because sometimes we might simply make our prayer as a form of litany of requests. Prayer is about conversion. Prayer is about diving deep. When we dive deep, when we dig deep with the Holy Spirit, we will reach the well springs of salvation. But when we just sit on top and talk to God about the mundane things of life, after some time, there is a high chance that we might end up feeling dry. But when we allow the Holy Spirit to dive deep, dig deep, then we recognize the freshness,